He crawled alone into an unexplored side passage. In the thick, suffocating darkness, Thomas Benning got stuck between rock walls only 8 inches wide. It took 20 months before someone accidentally found his body just 30 feet from the exit. This is a true story from the Black Cave tragedy. April 1995, Arizona, USA. Thomas Edward Benning parked his car near a cliff and walked straight into Black Cave. He had no partner, no map, and no helmet, just a headlamp strapped to a baseball cap. Thomas didn't tell his wife or anyone else about this trip. For him, it was just a routine adventure. He'd done it many times before and always came back safe. About 20 minutes into the cave, Thomas noticed something unexpected, a narrow crack hidden between 2 big limestone slabs, a side passage he swore he had never seen before. He hesitated for a moment, but then curiosity overpowered fear. He decided to crawl in. Right away, the rock walls pressed in. The space grew tighter and hotter. Air barely moved at all. But Thomas kept crawling 10 feet, 20 feet, then 50 feet. There were no turns, just a twisting, narrow path sinking deeper and deeper into the Earth's darkness. After more than an hour squeezing through the crack, Thomas realized the worst possible truth: he was completely lost. He no longer knew which way he had come from. His headlamp flickered once, then died. This wasn't just darkness. It was something worse. He was deep underground. No light, no direction, no hope. In desperation, he pulled out a box of matches, his last source of light. He struck one, saw a faint flicker, then nothing. They burned fast, then were gone. Thomas came up with an idea. He started leaving his belongings behind: his watch, some coins, candy wrappers, each item a fragile marker in the darkness. But Thomas didn't know he was in a dead-end passage, a deadly dead end. He kept crawling, looping through the same tight cracks again and again. Every direction felt the same. All of it led him deeper into a hopeless maze. His breathing turned shallow. His heart pounded out of control, his body drenched in sweat and shaking. In the darkness, Thomas kept crawling. Then, in that maze of rock, he spotted a tiny glimmer of hope, a narrow crack that looked just wide enough to squeeze through. Maybe it led to a way out. He turned, carefully slid one foot in first, and slowly pushed his whole body down. The space narrowed even more and squeezed tight. His hips slipped down with effort. Then suddenly he got stuck. Thomas was crushed between 2 limestone walls just about 8 inches apart, at the narrowest point. He was stuck in a V-shaped crack about 4 feet deep. He tried to push himself back up, nothing. Tried to slide down, impossible. His chest was pinned tight against the rock. Now he was hanging upside down, completely trapped. In that moment, Thomas knew he was never going home. An hour passed, then a day. His stomach churned from hunger. His mouth dried out. The air in the cave got thinner. His whole body squeezed between cold rock, every breath more painful than the last. Slowly, his body and his mind sank into absolute silence. All he could do was wait for death in the thick, endless dark. That night, Thomas didn't come home. His wife waited, then called. She felt something was horribly wrong. Finally, she called the police. The next morning, a search began. Police checked every known cave system in the area, but Thomas hadn't told anyone where he was going. That made him invisible to every rescue effort. Days passed. Then a tiny glimmer of hope appeared. The search team found his car, then his shirt, his glasses, all left near the entrance of Black Cave. They quickly entered the cave, following the main path and carefully checking each chamber. Shockingly, at that time, Thomas was still alive but in critical condition. However, the rescue team missed the side passage. The narrow crack Thomas had crawled into was overlooked. No one thought to check that tiny offshoot. After 4 days with no results, the search was called off. Thomas was officially declared missing. His wife's pain and hope never faded. She kept printing flyers, begging authorities, posting notices at cave entrances, but every effort led nowhere. Thomas remained completely silent, completely lost. It wasn't until over a year and a half later that 3 local explorers decided to push deeper into Black Cave. They explored side passages that had never been mapped, and that's when they found him. Thomas was wedged, dried out, completely still. He had been there all that time. The cruelest part: he was less than 30 feet from the main route, just a few steps away from rescue. Thomas died slowly in the dark, alone, while help was so heartbreakingly close. This tragedy came down to 3 fatal mistakes Thomas made. He went alone. He didn't bring a backup light. He didn't tell anyone where he was going. Those 3 things underground are a death sentence. If the original rescue team had known about the hidden passage or had brought in local cave experts, maybe Thomas could have been saved. So the real question is, would you dare enter Black Cave alone without telling anyone? Share your thoughts below.